Okay, so we're live on YouTube now, so you can share the link with your friends and family so they can join in case they don't have the link, the Zoom Meet link. Okay. So yes, how has 2025 been for you? Thank you everyone for joining. How has it been? I want to see in the chat how 2025 has been. I mean, we have just about 2 days to go and we're done with 2025. Looking forward to 2026. So put in the chat for me how 2025 has been for you. And if you'd like to speak, then go ahead. How has 2025 been for you? For me, it's been a roller coaster of growth, of life happening. It has been one of every season or every quarter, there's been some sort of recalibration, personally, professional, businesses, with financial. I've seen parts of myself that has been stretched. I've seen surprises around areas of my life that I didn't even imagine, I never imagined. So I think I can say for certain that for me, it has been one of honesty. And for the first time, I can say that I showed myself some grace, elements of elements of grace. I had this. I think I've been thrown out of the net.
We can still hear you.
I think I'm back on again. I keep
Yes, you.
getting thrown out with that network. All right, everyone. I apologize. My network has been awesome. I hope it gets us through the session. So please bear with me. Ah, okay. So I was talking about how 2025 has been. I don't know if any of you put in the chat how 2025 has been for you. Did I miss any conversation in the chat how 2025 has been for you? Can you put in the chat? I know this is streaming on YouTube as well. So for those of you that are joining us on YouTube, you haven't missed anything. It's a network that is acting very beautifully. So let's just proceed. Okay, so I was talking about how 2025 has been. And if you're just joining, my name is Patience Carew. I'm a certified money coach, a financial fulfillment expert, and I teach and I raise awareness on money patterns and behaviors so that you can make better money decisions and start to live more intentionally and prosperously. And today, this session is about you becoming aware on how you can reposition yourself for 2026. Because as we start to move into 2026, and 2026 is just really what's next for me. It's more about how you are positioned to receive whatever is available, whatever is out there, whatever is open for you. I hope you can hear me. I'm still getting signals that my network is shaky. Can I see in the chat if you can hear me?
Can hear you.
If I get thrown out, I have my second device on. Okay, thank you very much. I don't know why. I've just tried different internets, but I don't know what's going on. Anyway, so yes. So as I was saying, right, it's not you now saying what's next. It's you now asking yourself, how do I position myself to what is available out there for me, to the opportunities, to he said, and this really stood with me. He said, you don't walk into your dreams. You position yourself for it. You position yourself for the things that you want. So that means that these things already exist. How do you arrange yourself? How do you align yourself with the goals that you've set, with the dreams that you have, with your aspirations? And that's what today's session really brings your awareness to. When I heard that, I was like, oh gosh. So all the while that you are trying to do, you are staying in that state of doing and doing. When all you need to do or all you ought to have done is now say, okay, with all the knowledge I have, I come as I am. How do I position myself to be able to be available when that opportunity comes? So it just brings everything into perspective. And then I went on to look at the concept of position. Position is where you stand. It's how you are standing in your life. That is what position means. Very critical that we understand the concept of positioning so that we can then see how we can position ourselves, how we can align ourselves with what we want for 2026. So positioning yourself is not you wishing to be where you are. It's not you wanting or thinking you should be in so places, or it's about where you are currently. right? So your position then shows up in how you make decisions, what you tolerate, what you avoid, what you prioritize, and of course, how you relate with money, how you show, how you project yourself, your voice, how you position yourself. It's not something that comes upon you. So it's not something that just happens to you. It's just like every other thing with your life. It's shaped by your awareness. It's shaped by the beliefs that you hold on to. It's shaped by your choices, whether they are conscious or unconscious. So it doesn't matter what other people say. It's something that the way that you position yourself is already being shaped. So how do you then interrupt whatever beliefs, habits, convictions, conscious and unconscious, that is standing in your way? How do you then become clear so you know where you are standing? How do you become intentional to determine, to now tell yourself, these are the actions I need to take, these are the choices that I need to make? Because without you recognizing, without you becoming aware, you cannot make the changes that you need to make. You cannot. Of course, everybody knows, we know all the things. We know all the things that are good in us. We know we know the things that we need to develop ourselves in. We know all that. But as the year comes to an end, you find yourself stuck with unfinished goals, especially if you have set to-do lists, you've set things that you ought to have done. You've told yourself, I'm going to finish this program, I'm going to finish this course, I'm going to start this business, I'm going to work on my relationship, I'm going to do this. And then you find yourself still stuck in those patterns. You find yourself questioning your identity, questioning what you represent. You find yourself telling yourself that, okay, I need to start this year strong. I need to start next year strong. And all these things build heaviness inside of you. Now, so this session, right, what it's going to do for you is it's going to guide you. It's going to increase your awareness. And that's the promise that I make with money coaching, with everything I do around enlightenment, around money coaching, around awareness, around talking to you about clarity, about confidence, about control, about being calm. And I will be starting using position, the position pillar of my Prosper framework. I will teach you how you will realign your mindset, your energy, your identity, so that you can step into 2026 being clear, having that renewed sense of confidence and power. Because, like I said at the start, how you position yourself, and when I say positioning now, I'm talking how you position yourself energetically, how you position yourself strategically, professionally, financially, relationally, spiritually, in your health. All of it impacts the outer result, the results that we see, the manifestations that you experience. All of it impacts them. So you then see how important it is for you to recognize where you are at and where you're going. Because, of course, if you don't shine the light as to your current realities, how do you then make intentional steps? Or how do you create actions, step-by-step actions that will move you in the direction of what you want? And that's why in the past couple of weeks, I have talked about the Ready to Prosper program. I've shared a lot of resources and emails. If you're on the mailing list, you would have received a lot of emails. And if you're in our community, you would have received a lot of information as to the Ready to Prosper program, which is a 4-week program that begins on January 8th up till January 29th. That program is designed to help you become aware. It's designed to help you acknowledge your worth, know your values, do your life audit, recognize the biases, the beliefs that are holding you back. It's designed to help you break free from emotional, mental, and survival patterns. And I will be talking on all that we're bad with money, or we're not good with money, or we're carrying old baggages, beliefs about money, then it's not about the money anymore. It's not about your earning capacity anymore. It's about your patterns. It's about the things that are holding you back, right? So you might, and for some of you, you might be earning more. For some of you, you might be earning more, but still not feeling comfortable, still not feeling at ease. For some of you, it might be that you're trying to build wealth, but you are consistently on a survival mode. It's not a budgeting. Matter of fact, my classes are not for budgeting. They're more about transformation. They're more about awareness, about enlightenment, about clarity. Because once you have that, once you develop that, you will then find yourself operating from a place of intentionality. You'll find yourself making healthier decisions around your finances. You wouldn't struggle with savings. You won't struggle and jump and act like the Joneses with your investment decisions. You would become in tandem. You would become confident, and that's what this is about. Okay, so this free session, this year-end reflection session, right, just sort of gives you the foundation. It is the program that actually helps you activate it fully. So now, before we start to talk about where we're going, before we start, I want to let you know that I did call up a few people in the community to ask them what the expectations for today's session should be, or what they think that it should be like. And many of them talked about how they wanted this session to be like a reflection session. And this is a holiday season. We just want you to help us reset our thinking, our thoughts, our mindset towards how we should reposition ourselves, how we should think about 2026. I called another person and she said, Ma, I just want you to talk about, how we can earn more, how we can break through black tax, how we can, all these things, right, is embedded in how you position yourselves energetically, right? So I'm going to name a few realities. I'm going to list them out. And I don't expect you to use this session to solve anything. All I just want you to do is notice and be honest with yourself. And if you find something that resonates with you, if you find something that aligns with you, you recognize a pattern that I mentioned, it doesn't mean you're behind though. So you don't have to do anything. All you I think I'm back on now. Let me just spotlight myself. Please bear with me, everyone. The network just seems very awesome today. So if I'm thrown out, every time I get thrown out, I look in my other device to be sure, and I hope that someone will draw my attention so that I stop speaking. Okay, so yeah, so I was talking about, how you see yourself and the information that you get and the information that you get, right? Now, very quickly, I want us to do just rate ourselves very quickly. When you hear the word reposition, when you hear the word position, when you hear me talk about awareness, when you hear me talk about prosperity, now on a scale of 1 to 10, and I want to see in the chat, I want to connect with um, each and every one of you that have joined. On a scale of 1 to 10, how intentionally positioned do you feel for your future right now? I want to see in the chat. I'm looking in the chat. How intentionally positioned do you feel for your future right now? and looking in the chat, on a scale of 1 to 10, I just need the numbers. I don't need you to explain anything. On a scale of 1 to 10, how positioned do you feel for your future? And your future can be the next 2 years, it can be the next 3 years, it can be next year, it can be the next 5 years. How positioned? I'm looking in the chat. I want to see in the chat on a scale of 1 to 10. So just rate yourself. Someone says 6. Please go ahead, rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10. How positioned do you feel right now? 7. Absolutely. Absolutely. One more person. One more person. I can see in the chat, how positioned do you feel? You know, on a scale of 1 to 10, how positioned do you feel right now? 5. Thank you. Absolutely. Absolutely. Now let's take a moment to reflect on how our current positioning may be showing up or impacting us right now. And there are various ways, and I'm going to just talk very quickly through them. Just so your own is to just listen and just see how the one that impacts you, the one that affects you, or the one that is helping you, and how it is showing up. Now, the first one is not preparing for the future. And this is not to harass anyone. This is not to cause self-judgment, but we all know that we have to prepare for the future. We all know that we have to think about our retirement, investments. We have to think about our senior years, right? But if nothing changes within the next 2 to 3 years or within the next 5 years, the question I want to throw at you in the chat right now is, how prepared are you financially, professionally, emotionally? This is a reflection session. So there's going to be a lot of reflection questions, because good questions, strategic questions, elicit the right answers. They help you think. I always say that the answers that we seek are all within us. I was speaking to a staff today, and I said all the answers to everything that you seek is inside of you. So when I ask the questions, it's to cause you to start to think, to start to reflect as to how it is showing up for you. And it will show up for you across different life dimensions. So your life you have different dimensions of your life. When you look at your life, you see just your life, but holistically, your life encompasses your career, your profession, your relationship, your energy, your love life, your love relationship, your health and well-being, your spirituality, your mental health, which is your emotional health, your actualization, your goals, your personal development. So you then find that your life is in different aspects. So, and that's why you find that when you set goals, right? When it's not aligned and holistic, when it's not congruent with, all aspects of your life, there's some sort of disharmony. There's some sort of, what's the word now? That doesn't allow you achieve those goals, especially when you set and when you want to take certain steps or certain actions. You find one part of you is not aligned. That's because you've not harmonized all aspects of your lives to be one, right? So now the question that I ask you, and I ask it again because it's very important that you start to think about these things. If nothing changes within the next couple of years, how prepared are you financially? How prepared are you emotionally? How prepared are you? If you're writing, if you're answering the questions, please do so for yourself. If you want to unmute yourself to share, please go ahead. Otherwise, you can also put in the chat so I know that you are there. And some of you might say that maybe I'm a businesswoman, I'm self-employed, I work for myself, I'm a creative, my job doesn't have retirement benefits. It's still your responsibility to ensure that you are making enough money to help you invest in your own retirement. If you joined the 21-day money challenge, money mindset reset challenge that we just recently concluded in November, I talked about how you can, save for your future as well. And of course, thinking about your future, then you also want to think about the concept of enough, what enough means for you. Because a lot of the times, right, what happens is we as women, even professionals, even senior level executives, those people you admire, many of them are not future facing. We think that we're future facing. We think we're thinking about the future. But what we're actually doing is working for today, is working for just today and tomorrow, staying on the survival level. So we're literally functioning. So you want to ask yourself, what future version of myself am I quietly hoping will work? So that the key word I'm trying to point out here is hoping. Because hope is not a strategy. So you want to start asking yourself now so that you can recognize the dysfunction that is not allowing you adequately prepare for the future. Now, the next one is turning a blind eye to opportunities. We all want to stay in our position of comfort. And that's very true. That's easy. Because that comfortable state, that current state that we're in, we're protected. We know the edges, we know the curves, we know everything about that stage, that state that we're in. But the question is that you want to also begin to pay attention to is what opportunities what opportunities have crossed your path that you have overlooked, you have dismissed, you didn't even pay attention to, and the opportunities just passed you by. What opportunities this 2025 did you turn a blind eye to? What story, what narrative did you tell yourself to make yourself stay comfortable so that you can feel comfortable? I always talk about the dysfunction of comfort and how it affects us, how it stops us from making intentional decisions, from taking small but significant steps. There are always opportunities available. Now, let me bring this to context. I remember that I used to share a story about someone that I knew someone that I knew who at some point, was told to bring her CV for a job opportunity. And she said, why I don't want to send my CV. And I was like, why don't you want to send your CV? Because I don't want to have to start all over again. Because look at my age. I don't want to have to start to defend myself. I don't want to have to start projecting myself. I don't want to have to start all that are stories. They're narratives, they're convictions by which we hold ourselves to. And those convictions keep us bound. But we don't realize that they keep us bound because they help us stay in our comfort zone. And that's when I talk about the dysfunction of comfort. That's what I mean. So there are always opportunities. I hope I'm still here. There are always opportunities. But what we choose to see around those opportunities is up to us. And a lot of the times, those opportunities pass us by. These opportunities pass us by because we're afraid of change. We're afraid of shifting our identity. We have curated a certain identity for ourselves in the presence of our social circle, our family, our work environment, even our own spirituality, right? And that identity is now keeping us stuck and we're not even aware of it. So we get used to that dysfunctional state because of change. Before I started money coaching, I used to think it was laziness. But no, now I have the awareness. It's not laziness. It's your nervous system regulating you and trying to keep you safe. It's fear. But that fear is coated with discernment. It's coated with logical thinking. So you tell yourself, you justify your reasons, the reasons behind your staying stuck. You tell yourself it's not the right time. You tell yourself things like, I don't trust myself. So the question I throw at you again is, now that you are nearing the end of 2025, what opportunities have crossed your path that you let go of, that you dismissed too quickly? And then what stories have you told yourself so that you can stay safe, and feel comfortable? And I come to even think of it. You can also just tell yourself that now that we're going into 2026, if I have the confidence, what would I be exploring? What would I be doing differently? So you want to ask yourself that, right? You see, we don't recognize all of these things because we've been conditioned. Some of us have been conditioned to play small, to play humble, to stay safe. You don't want to be seen as too much, too loud, too brave, too confident, too beautiful, too much, too enough, if there's anything like that. And this pattern is not only for business women, it's also for senior executives, professionals, people with deep level of experience. You find that you're overqualified, but on the other side, you are underpositioned. And I will talk on how this underpositioning is impacting you as we move along. Because all the experiences, I know all of the things I'm saying because I've also passed through this. All the experiences you have gained, they become very invisible to you. You don't see it. It becomes like nothing. You play down yourself. You lower your voice. You don't want to, because you want to fit in, right? So if someone, and then maybe it's time to actually ask yourself this. If someone else had the skill, the same particular set of skill, gosh, I got that word from Liam Neeson. I've got a particular set of skills. If someone else had the same particular set of skills and experiences that you have, what would you say about them? What would you say that they're worth? Check yourself out. You might subconsciously be revering them. If you just imagine that someone else had the level, the years of experiences that you've had, 10 years, 5 years, someone can write the way you write, someone does the same business that you do, someone speaks the same way, someone has the same access that you don't even realize. You go into rooms, you go into workshops, seminars, you talk to people, but from afar, you think that they're better than you are. If someone else were in your shoes, what would you say that they're worth? And maybe it's time, as you start to think about those things, maybe it's time you also ask yourself, what do people come to me for? People come to me to talk to them about their money mindset. People come to me to talk to them about life issues, real life issues. People come to me for. So what do people come to you to consistently talk to you about? So, and see if you are minimizing it and you're considering it as nothing. Because that's also a problem. That's also a pattern. What about the decisions that you tell yourself when you have to make certain decisions? How do you hold yourself? What standard do you hold yourself by? Do you make decisions from a place of burnout, from a place of anxiety, from a place of fear? Especially for those people that are staying in positions that they've stayed in the same position for a long period of time. You stay too long in a job, you stay too long in a situation, you stay too long in a circumstance, you stay too long in a relationship, you stay too long in situations that don't serve you. And why do you think that is? Because it's driven by fear. It's driven by identity. That same identity, you're attached to the identity of that situation. So the point to note here is living is no longer the problem now. But how do you position yourself before leaving? I'm not here to tell you to leave your job, leave a relationship, no. Because before you even leave a situation, leave a job, it's easy, it only makes sense for you to gain everything you need to gain from that position. You need to gain the skills, you need to prepare yourself, you need to get the experience. So it's not just wise to just leave without actually preparing, right? But you want to ask yourself, am I leaving based on my emotional thinking or living strategically? And in this case, I'm talking about a job, I'm talking about a relationship that doesn't serve you. Because at the end of the day, like someone was asking me, how does this impact money? All of this drains your energy. All of this impacts your emotions. All of this influences your thought patterns. And all of this affects the language with which you project yourself by. So are you leaving towards something or you are moving away from pain? Now, I think I should say this question again. Are you moving away from pain or you're moving towards something? This whole workshop, this whole session is about positioning. And so you've got to start asking yourself or start reflecting as to how you position yourself for things, how you show up, how the things that you tolerate. So what are you tolerating that you have outgrown? What roles are no longer serving you? What are you tolerating? Because if you don't shift from this point to the next point, then you are not repositioning yourself. And could it also be that you are afraid of what would happen if you moved on? And that's where your identity comes in. That is where, I mean, I was teaching an older person, and we talked about identity in retirement. You've held on a particular job for so long, a particular role, a particular responsibility for so long, for the last 10 years, 15 years. You've consistently been a head of a department, maybe head of marketing, maybe chief risk officer, maybe business development, whatever, and all of that. And then you get to your senior years or you approach retirement, or for some reason, you're being laid off. That identity is who you are, is who people know you for. And then you now struggle with projecting yourself in a different light. Trust me, feelings of inadequacy will come in. Self-doubt will come in. You will doubt yourself. So you've got to then start seeing yourself, thinking of how to reposition yourself way ahead. Whatever opportunities that 2026 has in store for you is dependent on how you position yourself. Remember at the start, I told you that I heard someone say this. He said that you position yourself for your dreams. You position, you don't walk into your dreams. You don't walk into your aspirations. You don't walk into your destiny and all of that. You position yourself. Gosh, when I heard that, I was like, oh my God. So it's not as if it's not enough for me to walk towards my dream now. I need to create the visibility. I need to project myself. I need to present myself in rooms where I need to be. I need to become intentional. I need to work on my fight. So it's a whole lot. I need to work on my energy. I need to be able to show up when the opportunity comes. And that's how you position yourself. And that's where the fear of marketing also comes in. Bringing yourself down. You don't want to be pushy. You don't want to speak. You don't want money to come first. You want to feel ready. Imagine if I sat here and I was waiting to be ready. I will never be ready. Imagine if I waited to learn how to speak good English before I started teaching about money coaching, money mindset, your life around money. Imagine I was asking myself, who am I to speak? So the question for you is, what part of you makes you uncomfortable? What part of you makes you uncomfortable? And for those of you that have the prerequisite competence, the required level of competence, what would happen if you stopped hiding behind that confidence and started showing up intentionally? I know someone very close to me that is extremely qualified and gives away a lot of knowledge for free. And I say to him, we're in a knowledgepreneur economy right now. There's a whole lot of there's a whole lot of wealth buried in a knowledge economy. It's how you then project it, how you use it, how you utilize it. And so they say we should utilize everything. What they're saying to us is not just it's also utilize our experiences, our life experiences, because there are people that are missing out just because you're staying quiet, just because you're hiding your skills, just because you are giving away your time, you're volunteering and you are overgiving. Overgiving is also a pattern that you have to become aware of, that you have to recognize how it's also showing up for you. And I will also talk on that. But before I do that, I want to ask you, what do you think that your silence is also costing you? What assumptions are you making about what is possible for you? How are you holding yourself back? How are you tying yourself down because of social conditioning? Now, I want to see in the chat how this session is going. Let me see what the energy is like in the room. How is it going for you? How is it going for you? I want to see in the chat how it is going for you. What has stood out for you with the reflections that we're putting up? I want to see in the chat, how is it going for you? What have you noticed that has come up for you? What have you noticed? Very, very important. What have you noticed? What have you noticed? Okay. A thought-provoking, absolutely. Thank you. What else? What else have you noticed? Very reflective. What have you noticed? And I've put the questions together. I will share it after the session so that you can also go back and reflect on these questions, because these questions will help you start to become intentional as to your goal setting. So as January comes up, there'll be a lot of visioning. A lot of people are going to be doing a lot of visioning exercises, sessions. You're going to go into a lot of goal settings. For those of you that set resolutions, you're going to be thinking about, okay, the things you want to achieve. Now, these questions will help you become very definite with your responses and your asking. Okay? So let's see how positioning impacts the different dimensions of our lives. Remember, I told you that the different areas of your life. You have your energy, your relationship, your financial, your career. I talked about that earlier. Now let's look at how showing up energetically, positioning yourself energetically repositions your mind, your money, your identity for 2026. I hope you all are here with me. If you're here with me, I want you to send an emoji. Put an emoji in the chat for me to let me know that you're here with me and you can hear me loud and clear. I want to see an emoji in the chat for me. Oh, yes, you are. Okay, absolutely. Thank you. Right. So if you have questions, drop it in the chat for me and I will take up the questions as we move along. Right. Now, energetically, right? Let's look at your energy, positioning yourself energetically. What drains your energy? What do you tolerate that drains your energy? If you can put it in the chat for me, then go ahead. What do you tolerate that drains your energy? One person, and then I'll move. Put in the chat for me what you tolerate that drains your energy. Drained. So for you, what do you tolerate? What is that thing that is draining your energy? That you are, what situation, what circumstance? Is it a job? Is it a situation? Is it a thinking system? Is it a thought system? Is it a money system that you are in? Because you can't think long term when you're constantly drained. When you can't even think long term when you are in a survival position. When you are that survival mode, you're constantly on survival mode. When you're on survival mode, your body is just thinking about how to get through the day, get through the situation, get through the circumstance, get through the job, get through that business, get through that relationship. You're not thinking ahead. You're not thinking forward. And when I say survival mode, right, I'm talking about how you are constantly in a state of stress, a state of exhaustion, a state of uncertainty. You're constantly in that fight, fright, and freeze mode. you're asking yourself, how do I solve this? What do I need to solve? You are in that emergency, that urgency. So every decision you make is from a place of urgency, it's from a place of emergency. And what happens to your nervous system at that point is it tries to keep you safe, not necessarily prosperous, not necessarily make you more money. So let me bring this to context for you. You find yourself, and I used to also do this. You find yourself staying busy. The busyness isn't moving you forward. That's another question. But you are staying busy to stay safe. Or are you the one that take on more jobs, take on clients, just because you know that you want it to make you feel better, not necessarily that it impacts your bottom line? Or you just don't want to plan for tomorrow, plan for because you can't, your brain, you don't have the bandwidth to think about tomorrow. Or is it the type that I used to do where if things are not sorted, if the place is not clean, if I haven't finished that task, if I haven't done this, if I haven't done everything, I can't rest. So are you that type of person that would delay rest? Because if you stop, everything might turn around, or it might scatter, or you might be judged, or it just feels risky. It just feels strange for you to rest. If you rest, you think you're lazy. And all of that leads to you abandoning what is important to you. When you abandon the things that are important to you, then that's bordering on self-abandonment. And behind it is giving, overgiving. Overgiving is a pattern. Energetically, overgiving is also self-abandonment. And I will explain. What that means is you are saying yes to things that don't align with you. You are saying yes to things that your body, your mind space, your intuition, your energy has already said no to. You are giving time to things that drain you. You are giving a lot of labor, a lot of advice, a lot of expertise to people without prerequisite, without the equivalent compensation. You are the one you have presented yourself to be the dependable person while you are running on an empty tank. That is overgiving. And that also drains you energetically. So how do you reposition yourself? Because some of you then measure your worth. You measure who you are, how useful you are to other people by the way that you give. Remember, I talked about how you delay rest, how you feel guilty for resting. What about receiving? How you feel guilty asking for support, how you feel guilty receiving support. And all of this, right? There's a psychological element attached to it. Very salient, subliminally, it's because there's something inside of you that feels safer when you're needed. There's something inside of you that recognizes people needing you as a form of security, as a form of approval, as a form of validation. So you've got to ask yourself now, why is this a positioning issue? Why am I talking about? Why is she bringing it up? Your energy, you're experiencing energy leak. There's something that they say that where your energy goes is where your focus goes. So when you give, how much energy are you giving? What are you losing? What energy are you draining? When you overgive, your focus is scattered because you are in so much drama, you are in other people's drama, other people's business, that you don't even have time to sit with yourself, meditate, bring some mindfulness into your own reality, into your own life. And if it's your finances, you give to the detriment of your own financial goals, your own financial needs as well. When you overgive, you teach people that your energy is available. Your energy is disposable. Very important. And you know what? We human beings,
again. What is that thing? What is that thing that you are given that is draining you? What is it? What do you need to change? What do you need to change about your self-worth? What do you need to adjust? So I'm not asking you to become less generous. I'm not asking you. Can you hear me, guys?
I hope you can hear me.
Yes, we can.
Am I still on? Okay, thank you. So I'm not asking you that to not give anymore. No. All I'm asking you to do is to become aware, is to become honest with yourself. Is to start to ask yourself, where is all this hustle leading me to? The giving I'm giving, how much is it affecting or impacting my growth, my joy, my presence? Am I hustling from a place of fear? Or is it a boundary issue? So these questions, right? They have to help you. Is it a boundary issue? It's not what is happening is that your energy, right? You're not allocating it effectively. So you've got to then now protect your energy intentionally. That's what you've got to do now. You've got to then protect your energy. And that's how you reposition energetically. And so let's move to the next one, strategic positioning. Remember, I said that the different aspects to positioning yourself. And at the start, I told you that hope is not a strategy. So if you are busy, your business is not a strategy. As a matter of fact, you have to move from a state of reacting to a state of being intentional. Living month to month with your finances is not a strategy. You want to then ask yourself, how can I adjust my finances in a way that I'm consistently thinking seasonally, I'm thinking annually, I'm thinking quarterly, not day to day, not month to month. You want to ask yourself, why is my calendar so full, but I have no clear direction? These are strategic questions that helps you reposition. Because you don't want to be working so hard and you don't know what you're building. And then before you know what's happening, it's July, and you ask yourself, how has the year gone? And that's what the awareness does for you. Because when you stay in that mode, when you stay in that old thinking pattern, what happens is you will be reactive. You wouldn't be intentional. And when you are reactive, remember I said that everything is on survival mode in the reactive thinking. So you keep thinking emergencies. Everything is urgent. How can everything be urgent? There's some things that are important. So you are constantly saying yes. You don't have the time and space to have the mindfulness to say no to certain things. Circumstances, situation, life is always happening. And when life is happening, it's dictating your choices. And those things that are happening and those decisions you're making, are they influencing, are they impacting the goals that you have set? Are they moving you forward, or they're keeping you static? And that's where setting your goals, setting your values, setting your beliefs, your priorities, all of them comes into play for you. That's where becoming mindful, creating the space to think. During the challenge, I talked about values, I talked about vision, how important it is. All that is a strategy that moves you from survival mode, that helps you reposition yourself. So now what you must take from being strategic is, with my finances, I've got to stop thinking month to month. Because when I'm thinking month to month, day to day, it's keeping my nervous system activated. I'm constantly on the edge. Sometimes you need a longer period of time to achieve your goals. Sometimes you need to break your goals, break what you want to do into smaller steps that will then cause you to take smaller actions that leads to the ultimate goal. And that's where the strategic positioning comes in. So you want to ask yourself, where am I reacting instead of leading in my life? What decisions do you have to make? What choices do you have to take that will be different? If you even gave yourself the permission to think long term, what decisions will you make? What choices would you make? If I said to myself, patience, I want to think long term now. I want to stop thinking about only from now till July. I'm sure I would show myself grace with my goals. So I wasn't able to start the program that I wanted to start this year. But can I start next year? When does the next stream begin? When does the next cohort begin? How do I plan towards that? Does that leave me room to achieve other goals? Does that leave me room not to stretch, allow me not stretch myself thin? That's the way that you want to think. Now let's move to the professional positioning. Remember I said that the positioning is the first pillar of the Ready to Prosper framework. Or presence in yourself to align with the opportunities that are open, that are available out there. Now, with your professional positioning, I talked about visibility earlier. So visibility is a part of your responsibility. So for 2026, if you have skills, if you have experiences, if you have templates or things that can bring good results or manifest good results for people, you shouldn't hide it. If you're hiding it, it's not that you are small, you are withholding. And what happens is you are holding yourself back from helping other people. You are playing small. That's what you're doing. You are waiting for people to invite you when you should be positioning yourself. That's what my definition of visibility is. You are responsible for projecting yourself, for presenting yourself. It's your responsibility. Some of you, you're so experienced that you let your work speak, and that's a good thing. But you are the one that is responsible for even projecting your work, projecting your expertise. And that's where the world is shifting to. Because what happens is you will have so much knowledge, so much expertise, so much competence. You will be so overqualified, but without the right visibility, you wouldn't make significant impact. So you want to pay attention to that. You want to see how not owning your own expertise, not projecting yourself, how that inner block is impacting your positioning. You want to see how downplaying all the experiences, your years of experiences. What about that thing that we always say? When they ask us to speak very intelligently, we talk like we're still figuring things out. What are you figuring out? The experience you have, some people don't have it. Of course, you'll be open to getting new knowledge and all of that, but the one that you are doing, how are you even bringing it out? How are you showing up? Are you busy deferring to other people, even though you know better? The people that the voices are louder, you are deferring to them because much bigger scale. And that's the essence of being ready. That's the essence of positioning yourself to prosper. So you want to ask yourself now, where am I deeming my presence Is it in my workplace? How am I showing up? In my businesses, am I afraid to show up? Am I doubting my language? Am I doubting what I know? Am I afraid of what my friends, my social circle would think? I don't want to. Am I afraid of speaking up? I don't want my parents to see me this way. I don't want my husband to think that way. I don't want my friends to think. I don't want my wife to think. I don't want my all that. What would you change if the minute you become confident of yourself as an expert, what would you change? What would you change? So these are the sorts of things you have to think of around your professional positioning. And then we move to financial positioning. This is the part where a lot of people are much more interested in. This is the part where you find yourself avoiding. And one of the biggest challenge, biggest money issue is avoidance. Aside fear, aside guilt, aside shame, is avoidance. Avoidance is a position. It's a stand. And remember I said that it's not because you're lazy. It's you protecting yourself. It's you telling yourself, I can't deal with this right now. So you avoid checking your bank balances. You avoid opening statements. You avoid planning. You avoid budgeting. You keep hoping that things will work out. You keep hoping that the right opportunity will come. You keep hoping that someone will discover you. You keep hoping that things will work out fine. Things will sort themselves out. I said hope is not a strategy. You don't want to have money conversations because it brings a lot of tension. Right. Okay. Yeah. And that's where a lot of us, experience a lot of financial stress. Well, I hope you can hear me now. Can you hear me? Put in the chat for me if you can hear me. Yeah. Okay. Absolutely. Thank you. And that's where a lot of financial stress and trauma come from. A lot of guilt that we experience around money, a lot of fear, and that's where they all come from. So you want to ask yourself questions around all of these things. You want to start to ask yourself, what do I need to become clear of? What do I need to, how do I start to know my numbers in a way that reduces fear? How do I increase awareness? How do I take agency over my finances? How do I become financially responsible? Your relationship with money, right, is personal. And it is tied to the attention that you give it. I don't know where we learned that we have to be perfect with our financial journey. Many people are winging it. Fine, there are strategies, but a lot of the times, many people are winging it. So you've got to know your own situation. You've got to plan around your own life realities. If things are not working, you've got to create that element of flexibility to be able to use the information that you're getting from things that are not working to what will work. Checking your accounts shouldn't be something that you should feel judged or you should feel bad about. It should be seen as information. And that's all in your mindset. How you have been conditioned to see money. Do you look at money conversations, financial conversations, financial transactions? Do you look with curiosity or you look from a place of judgment? So you see all these habits, all these patterns, they influence how you show up, how you position yourself financially. So you want to start to ask yourself, what am I avoiding financially? What am I not looking at in terms of my income, in terms of the way that I earn, my side hustle, my spending patterns, my debts, my savings, the way I price myself? You want to pay attention to all of that. Because when you shine the light, then of course you become informed, you become intentional, you become empowered, you become enlightened to make healthier choices, make better investment decisions, plan better, right? Now let's take a moment to do some grounding exercises. I want to see what the energy in the session is. Is everyone here with me? I want you to take a moment to sit back and relax, sit very comfortably. Take a moment to sit back and relax. If you're able to, I want you to take 2 breaths in. Take deep breaths in. I want you to notice your body. If you're able to close your eyes, you can. You can also feel yourself. If you're sitting, just feel yourself relaxed and take deep breaths in. And as you take those breaths in, I want you to inhale and exhale. And when you inhale, I want you to inhale clarity, confidence, calm, control. And when you exhale, I want you to exhale tension, conflict, anxiety, projections, fear. This is your time to take a moment. This is your time to just breathe. I want you to come into this moment with yourself. I've talked about the different ways that you project yourself. So this is an opportunity for you to bring your awareness to look at your current financial life. Take a moment to sit back, think about your bank accounts, think about your business decisions, your career, your profession, the job that you do, your expenses, your relationships, the way that you earn your income, your energy, your spirituality, your emotions, your personal development journey. And I want you to notice without judgment, without you judging yourself, just calmly. Notice where inside of you feel that tension, you feel that worry. You can also notice where you feel excited, where you feel satisfaction, where you feel gratitude. And when you notice, right, I want you to say to yourself, I see where I am at. I acknowledge myself. I acknowledge what it is. And I'm asking you to say this to yourself largely because this session is not for us to fix anything. It's for us to just notice. It's for us to witness. And as you take more breaths in and out, now shift your awareness to what you want to invite into your life. Imagine qualities. Imagine, is it success? Is it ease? Is it love? Is it timeliness? Is it wealth? Is it a good job? Is it a loving relationship? Is it being able to make better decisions? Is it being able to show up confidently? Is it being able to manage your energy, manage your resources, your time, your money? Imagine yourself around all the things that you want, things that are tied to your values as energy. Imagine them flowing. Now, I want you to place your hand over your heart. As you do this with me, I want you to breathe much more slowly this time and say to yourself, I'm ready. I'm grounded. I'm ready. I'm ready. Whatever it is you're ready for, you can add it. I'm ready for my next level. I'm ready for my growth. I'm ready for all that the universe has to offer. I'm ready for the opportunities that are available out there for me. And what are you ready for? I am aligned. I'm grounded in prosperity. Anchor yourself by placing your hand in your heart. Or you can, if you don't want to, you can just put it on your belly, on your tummy. But just breathe intentionally as you do it and let that sit with you for a moment. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. You can come back to the session. We're almost wrapping up, but it was important that we did the grounding exercises because I wanted everything that we're doing to sink in. And very quickly, I'll touch on your relational positioning. I'll just talk very quickly through relational positioning, spiritual positioning, and forgot the last one. But yeah, your relational positioning is actually your relationship, right? How your relationships impacts you, right? Are you doing too much for others at the expense of your own time and energy? Are you setting boundaries? Are there unconscious or conscious things or patterns that limit you that you're not aware of? What's really, are you attracting people that trigger you consistently and you're not paying attention to it? There's some people that on a consistent basis, they attract the same set of people, the same type of relationships. So you find every time you get into a new relationship, you find that the patterns are similar to the old one. Every time you get a new job, you find yourself in a similar situation. Every time you're on a new transaction, every time something new comes upon you, are you constantly supporting? All these things is tied to your relationship. So you want to ask yourself, the relationships that I'm holding on to, are they lifting me or limiting me? Very important. Are they reinforcing old patterns of behaviors for you? And then you move on to your spiritual positioning as well. And then ask yourself questions around your values. Very important. If you haven't worked on your values, you can catch the videos from the money mindset reset that we had in November. I think it's on our YouTube channel at Carew on YouTube or Enlightened Money Coaching on YouTube. You should be able to find the free resources there to catch up, right? So when we're talking about your spirituality, you're talking about your relationship with who your higher authority is, God, the universe, but also your values, your integrity, the decisions that you make, your ability to practice mindfulness, to listen to your intuition, and your ability to become aware is what helps you respond from a place of a place of intentionality, from a place of clarity. You're becoming aware, you're aligning with your intuition is what connects you with other aspects of your life. It's what synergizes the other positionings that I've talked about. So very, very important. And then we talk about your health and well-being. Your health, of course, if you're not of good health, if you're experiencing burnout consistently, if you're silencing yourself, if you're not protecting your energy and your income, if you're people pleasing, all that can impact your health. They drain your energy, cause you diseases around you. So you want to ask yourself questions around that. And so as I bring this to a close, I want to ask you, if nothing changes in the next 90 days, how would you feel? Or how would that feel for you? If nothing changes in the next 90 days, I want to say in the chat, what you think about what I've just said. If nothing changes in the next 90 days, how would that feel for you? Because if you've felt something today, if you've heard or seen yourself in all I have shared, if you have recognized patterns, right? Or if you feel that you have been playing below your potential and you feel that you're ready, then allow me invite you to my 4-week program, the Ready to Prosper program. It's not another course. It's not a class that I'm just going to be teaching. No, it's not another information that you are getting for 2026. It's a guided session. It's a session where we will work together. It's a space where you would learn, and you would learn to shift your identity. You would recognize your money patterns, your energy, and the way that you show up in the world. We're going to have sessions for 4 weeks. So we're going to have inevitably at least a minimum of 4 sessions where we'd rewire our beliefs, reposition our identity, rebuild our money stories, work on our confidence. So if you've been thinking about all I've been saying in terms of clarity, in terms of identity, in terms of beliefs, in terms of awareness, if you have been craving that, if you have been finding yourself in the same circle or in the same repeated cycle of patterns, if you feel like, okay, I want to know more, then this is for you. This is your invitation. This is where I say, join us. The enrollment is open. We start on the 8th of January. If this is for you, then of course the link will be added to our page on YouTube. And I believe that the link would also be in the chat for those of you that are here. I want you to put in the chat for me, I'm ready to prosper. 2026 is the year you become aware, is the year you become intentional, is the year you start prospering in everything across different dimensions. Today, we just touched on the P of the Prosper framework, and see how deep it is. See how deep positioning, and this is just me scratching the surface, telling you how you position yourself across different aspects of your life. Imagine we go through all the other aspects of the framework, of the Prosper framework. Imagine you become aware, you start to see how you can change those struggles, how you can reframe the beliefs that are holding you back, that pressure to hold everything alone, that conversation that you're avoiding, that you not trusting yourself with money. Imagine if you can reframe all those patterns. And that's what we will do over 4 weeks. We'll increase awareness. We'll reframe and replace a lot of the disempowering beliefs and habits that hold you back. We'll do that through life coaching sessions, through patterns rewiring exercises, using all I have learned through the trainings I've received over the years. The trainings I've received from money mindset trainings, from money trauma training, certifications, from neuro-linguistic programming, from my years, over a decade of being in the financial services, dealing with people and the dynamics that they have, their relationship around money. I've worked with different sets of people across the human economic pyramid, from the lower level to the mid level to the high to the top of the pyramid. I've worked with people that on the grassroots, they live on survival basis, they sell things and live day to day. I've worked with the mid-level executives, I've worked with the higher level, the top level executives, and I can tell you that the relationship with money, right, doesn't have anything to do with the bank account. Of course, the bank account brings numbers. Money enhances our lives. Money improves all areas of our lives. But the emotions that we feel, the expansiveness, the tightness, the excitement, the joy, the tightness, the budgeting, the not enough, the I am alone, the doubts, the inadequacies, the confidence, the clarity, everything, the emotions, the energy that we feel is similar across the three different levels. So if you join us by January, then of course you start to trust yourself even more. The word intentionality will be a part of you for 2026. I want to know how, thank you for putting in the chat that you're ready to prosper. I want to know how this session has been for you. I want to see in the chat how the session has been for you. How has this session been? What is the key thing to note? What are you taking with you from this session? What are you taking? So it's not just to invite you, it's also to see what you're taking with you to 2026. I want to see in the chat what you're taking with you to 2026. I'm in the chat and I'm looking. Enlightening, inspiring, empowering. Thank you so much. I want to see how the session has been for you and what you're taking with you through 2026. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. And for those of you that are, have joined us via our YouTube page, thank you so much. I hope you're in our mailing list so that you can get information about our programs and joining instructions for when we have what we have lined up for 2026. How has this session been for you? What is the key takeaway as we bring this to a quick close? What is the key takeaway for you? I look forward to seeing you all in the Ready to Prosper 4-week transformation program starting on the 8th of January. What has this session done for you? What reflections stood out the most? I'm looking to see in the chat, and if you'd like to unmute yourself, please go ahead. How has this session been for you? How has this session been for you, everyone? And what are you looking to take to 2026?
For me,
Hello.
okay, you can go ahead.
Okay, just to mute yourself. Who wants to speak? Okay, please go ahead.
Okay. Good evening, ma.
I don't think I can hear.
Thank you.
Okay, is it my internet? Okay.
Okay. Good evening once again, Coach B, and thank you for this session again. So I feel very empowered to position myself for the coming year. From what you said so far, I've been able to think through my skills, both the soft skills and the rest of them, and other things that I've allowed to just lay silent, which would have been generating income for me, extra income for me. So that is that for me. I mentally took notes of things I could do. I'm not with my pen, I'm sorry, but I mentally took down stuff I know I am really very good at. And then you spoke also about overgiving. Overgiving is it's making yourself too available and teaching people how to, okay, teaching people that you are very, very available. It struck something in me. I know overgiving not necessarily it might not necessarily be finance or your money. It might be your time and some of your resources and your knowledge too. So it struck a chord with me, and I've mentally taken notes on how to restructure some things in and around my life so that I'll be able to position myself and earn more and then be more visible. You said visibility to you means making yourself available, not waiting for people to come to you. People might not necessarily know what you are really good at. So if you make yourself available and don't wait for when you are very prepared, because that time may never come. So it's really, really struck a chord in me, and I believe my 2026. In fact, I believe I've been positioned for 2026. So I want to give 2026 a run for its money. Thank you, ma.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you. That's so brilliant of you to recognize what's important to you, what you want to adjust, what you want to see, how you want to reposition yourself for 2026. I can only wish you the best. Thank you so much. Does anybody else want to share what stood out for them in this session and what they're looking out for 2026? What you're taking with you for 2026? I'm just leaving room for us to share before we bring this to a close.
I would like to share, right? So for me, the session was
Thank you very much.
more preparatory for 2026 than reflective, right? Because you mentioned where we we hold ourselves because we're comfortable where we are instead of stretching to go after bigger goals, new things, which we know will take us outside our comfort zone. So for 2026, it's a challenge for me to put in more to, leave my comfort zone. Yeah. And, try to achieve more financially, basically. So yeah, that's what I got out of this. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. One more person, and then we'll bring this to a quick close. Anybody else wants to share what you took out from this session and how you want to reposition yourself? Remember, I said that this is the P of the Prosper, the P pillar of the Prosper framework. So there's more to this as this unfolds. We're going to look at how you can plan, how you can, you know, intentionally bring some structure into different aspects of your life using the Prosper framework. Okay, so does anybody else want to share how this reflective session has been and how it impacts 2026? Don't stay quiet too. Say something and let let it be known before I call your names. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone. I want you to put in the chat for me how the session has been. Use an emoji to say how the session has been. Different topic Right. So this then brings us to a point where we talk about with our Mind Over Money series, where we talk about different aspects of money and how it impacts our beautiful lives. And then, of course, other programs around money mindset and our lives in general. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Thank you for sitting through my wonderful network. For those of you catching the replay on YouTube, thank you for listening. Don't forget to join us on the 8th of January. The link will be shared via email on the YouTube description page, as well as on our group. And then on social media, you can reach out to P. Carew, which is myself, on LinkedIn as @Patience Carew, one word. Patience is Patience, Patience, and Carew is Carew. And then on Instagram, you can also find me or DM me at P Carew, which is Peecarew. I'm so grateful. It has been my purpose, my joy to show up to do this. It is one of the things that I love to do. My biggest expression in my life is also to see how I can impact and influence as many women and other people as possible, and sensitize and bring awareness, raise their consciousness around money patterns and behaviors, so that we can become intentional, we can become confident to live purposefully and prosperously. We women have a lot of biases around money that is tied to social conditioning, that is tied to our upbringing, our dynamics around our family, our relationships, our marriage, our biology, our hormones. How we relate with money is being influenced by a lot of all these things: gender, the workplace, a lot of factors around us. And so we need a lot of awareness, a lot of belief, a lot of encouragement, a lot of empowerment, a lot of sensitization as to how we show up, how energetically we project ourselves, the beliefs that we need to take on, to the skills we need to learn, the capacities we need to build, the behavior we need to embody, the environment we need to put ourselves in, the beliefs that we need to take on to be able to live much more fully with our lives. So yes, I thank you so much, everyone, and I look forward to seeing you all on the 8th of January as we begin the first batch, the first cohort for the Ready to Prosper program. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a prosperous 2026, and I look forward to seeing you in a couple of days. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye for now.
Thank you, Coach P.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.